Hello and welcome to another awesome episode of Untitled KKP Show, the show where we talk about video games. Yet still haven't figured out how to actually call the show, what to call the show officially. That's how we roll. I am Jonathan Toyad, aka Mr. Toffee. Gonna do the weekly thing. This is for recording on the date of 4th of November. We actually got some questions or whatnot from our readers and viewers all over. Not just the comments page on YouTube, but also on our, I guess you could say we have a Discord channel, but we actually are getting questions from the TWT gaming channel as well, another group of Malaysians who play games and whatnot. So we'll approach that. We'll attend to that in the near future. I need to actually compile the questions. Also, yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna have to release an FAQ about KKP one of these days, right? Yeah, that would be good. I would like that, actually. Maybe I can do one this week. What else am going on? Let's just recap the bunch of things that we've done for the past few days. During the weekend, I checked out LahLah Land, which is actually a new event created by sneaker fashion group LahLah. They talk about sneakers, sneaker culture, like Hypebeast but Malaysia and more localized. They have been doing these events for quite a while. It was actually at MyTech. Now this is actually the first time doing a new event at Mines Convention Center, which is a very big ass place, but just the traffic there is just bad. That's all. And I checked out the esports side of things. They actually had like a bunch of mobile stuff going on, Honor of Kings, some race cars, real racing stuff going on, and a bunch of esports things here and there, and I mean everything else surrounding it. I mean, it's not just esports gaming, but also sneaker culture, clothes, limited item clothing and shoes. From a bunch of local brands and some Thailand offshoots and whatnot. I'm not going to pretend to say I know all that, obviously not. But I got an invite as a VIP and checked it out. It was a really awesome event. Really cool stuff. Divided, not just for... there's also a little small area for comics. So that's going to be expanded, definitely. This is actually the first time accommodating culture of gaming, not just gaming, but also fashion and sneaker culture, skating culture and whatnot into one grab bag event. I believe the modus operandi for LahLah Land is, I guess you could say it's like, I want to say Lollapalooza or something like MagFest. No, MagFest more music and games. This one's more like sneaker culture and clothing first before everything else. So it's trying to be that. And then there's also some musical acts here and there brought to you by LahLah and the music partners they're with. And there's also Grab. There's also a bunch of, like, usually the food vendor side, there's actually a lot of places, like, they're all small kiosks, but they're all like quality food. You got like Tim Hortons, nasi lemak, bakery stuff, pizza stuff, all really good. So I think the pizza group, Mocha, they have their own big lot just next to the esports center stage, and that center stage also has like a bunch of bands playing here and there. I was only there for one day, but it was already pretty big, and that's promise for that to expand further and further. So yeah, good event to go to. Obviously you should go for the next one, which is probably going to be around November. I think LahLah always have they have an event they keep hosting every single year. So the last 2 years was actually LahLah, and then this year is LahLah Land. So the next one is going to be LahLah Land, of course. It's probably going to be in the same area. We'll see. I'm not a fan of Mines Convention Center, the traffic mostly, but the area is fine. It's just getting there, it's just bad. It'll be nice if they can actually go back to MyTech, but also it depends on the organizers whether they can do another one at MyTech, or they have a contract or whatnot. So that's how these things are. So and that's all up in the air, and it also depends on feedback and what's going on in the group, whether they want to do it at Mines again. I mean, there's also like other places you can do it, like Sunway Convention Center, but also it's all about cost in the end too, and space, because Mines definitely is a bigger space, that's for sure, to put a lot of things. So you got not just the ground floor, but also the top floor. That's why Animangaki has always been happening there on August. I mean, the one this year was great, so yeah, no complaints there. That's really good stuff, especially with the musical act, Aya Hirano singing and all that. So, in case I didn't, praise that enough, yeah, Ani Magaki this year, good stuff. So yeah. But all in all, yeah, good event. There's also the Taylor College, I guess it was called Kiyokocon, that happened. It's like a group thing, and so it's like really well put together for a college event. So I didn't go to the Saturday one, but they actually had one on Sunday, so I thought I got some free time in between work, so I thought I'd just drop by for a bit. They had the Street Fighter 6 Finals tournament on Saturday and a Tekken 8 tournament on Sunday. Yeah, good stuff. I even had a chat with the owner, the guy who organized everything, the group, the Taylor's Anime Club, or Anime Group, the Anime Club, book club. So they had 6 months to plan everything. It just became a whirlwind. The organizer, the leader, Sim Boon, he said that, he listened to the ideas, and most of the time, if the activities line up just great, yeah, just pop it up and go for it. So it was definitely a group effort, and for next year's and the years after, they will have to, elect new people to lead the charge and whatnot, so you'll have to go on a yearly thing. So yeah, college events, do support them when you can. Support your grassroots events whenever you can. So I also believe Insert Coin, the guys who organize the esports gaming side of things at Kiyokocon, they've been doing a lot of grassroots stuff, so yeah, go support them. Really good stuff right there. Definitely they're gonna be doing other stuff too. Like I'm gonna assume they're gonna do Comic Fiesta stuff, like for fighting in tournaments or whatnot, because I believe my FGC, they closed down. They had like a esports arena, and that closed down. So are they gonna be doing more and more tournaments? We don't know yet, but I think Insert Coin, Infinite Carnage, they're the same. I think they're gonna be leading the pack right there. That's just my predictions. Who knows? They might be planning more content and more esports event in the next year and the year after or so. As of now, they've been keeping themselves busy. Can't really say the same for my FGC or even the partners Game Malaysia, Esports Gamer Malaya or whatnot. Games MY, that's the other group right there. I don't know if they're also gonna be doing anything major or whatnot, but I do know that Insert Coin, like I said, they're the more active and the more, I guess you could say, trusted brand in terms of like fostering not just Street Fighter 6, Tekken 8, but also accommodate other fighting games like 2XKO and whatnot. So you should keep an eye on them and the tournaments they do, because they're gonna be leading in the pack if other esports guys aren't gonna be pulling their weight or half-assing it. Because I know Insert Coin, they're not going to half-ass. They're gonna go full all outline in that sense. So I'll be interested to see what they'll be up to in the fighting games circuit in the next few months or years. So looking forward to that, yes. Alright, the games I've been playing. I've been going through a lot of backlog stuff. So gonna be talking about a couple of titles. I think I already got my Outer Worlds 2 playthrough all sorted out. The review is already out. Yeah, that's a good game. I'm not a fan of the companions. They're not bad. They've got a lot of story going on. In fact, I think Inez and Asa are my favorite characters. But in terms of like memorability and those who actually stick with you, they're not Veronica from Fallout New Vegas. They're not Arcades from Fallout New Vegas. They're not Parvati from Outer Worlds. That's for sure. They're like one step below those characters I mentioned. But everything else from the gameplay, the gunplay, the action, the talking bits, the dialogue, and convincing people to kill themselves in the circuits and whatnot, and speccing into different things here and there. Either you want to be a sneaker guy, or you want to be the guy who talks people's ears off, or just want to be all guns a-blazing and whatnot. Yeah, Outer Worlds 2 will say that RPG control freakness in you. In fact, it actually warrants multiple playthroughs, especially for harder difficulties and also different playstyles. Really, especially if you know what you're going, especially if you're playing it the second or third time. Yeah, definitely a high recommendation from my side. I'm sticking to that score I put, 80 out of 100. I'm gonna talk about, let's see, I guess I've been playing a bunch of others. Pokemon Legends ZA, I am actually, I think I'm 15 plus hours into it. I am at I just got through the Dragon Maid lady. Yeah, she's the one with the most sauce. So for those who don't know, Pokemon Legends ZA is actually using real-time combat this time for all your Pokemon battles. You still have six or five in your six or so in your roster. You get to pick whoever you want. You get to select your team of Pokemon. You get the evolution thing and the level up and whatnot. They're all the same as in previous games. You're in Lumiose. You're in the town in Z and Y, X and Y, and ZA is because Pokemon Legends ZA is because they're focusing on that town, and I guess it's 5 years after the events of X and Y, I believe. And now you're a new guy, you're in Hotel Z, and then now you kind of want to help out this hotel for keeping you sheltered and whatnot during your holiday trip, and you're just a random male or female Pokemon trainer who wants to be the best, and off you go in battle zones at night, fighting against monsters, against other trainers, or daytime you do side quests and you also find Pokemon to level up and train. At nighttime you fight battle arena folks, battlers and trainers to fight, to get tickets, to get points, to get a ticket to qualify for a rank battle. And then if you win the rank battle, you go up from Z to A, Z to Y, X, W, and so forth until you reach A to be the best. That's your rank right there. So I'm halfway through that. And I do like the battle system because it actually makes the turn-based, it just makes things go faster and faster. You hold the left trigger on your Switch 2 to when you have the Pokemon summon to activate the abilities. All the abilities are assigned to the face buttons. Press it once and then you do the attacks and all that. And capturing Pokemon is easy as just holding the right trigger to, aim and then let go. You aim with the left analog stick and then you just throw the ball, hope for the best, So it's always better to beat up the monster first, and then when it's like dazed, you just throw the Pokeball. Most of the time it works, but you probably need greater balls to capture the more high tier Pokemon. Yeah, and then you're gonna have like boss Pokemon running around in certain zones. So when you see like a level 30 dude running around when you got level 20 Pokemons, you should stand a fair chance. But if you're fighting against level 40, 50, yeah, just run the hell away and just get out. And then you just heal and then come back again and, try your best not to wake up the boss. You can even do a sneak attack, so you can sneak up behind trainers and even monsters to, throw your balls and everything, or just sneak attack with your Pokemon. What's really funny is you get to actually make your trainer hide behind a bench. When you summon your Pokemon, he'll be out there. He or she will be out there to do the quote-unquote sneak attack. The trainer, the opposing trainer can see the Pokemon coming at them, but it's counted as a sneak attack. So that's pretty funny and whatnot. As long as your trainer isn't spotted, the attack is still counted as a sneak attack. So yeah, you can have your Pokemon out there doing the attack. So that counts. I mean, that's just how the logic is, and it works out just great. It's pretty funny. The presentation is fine. The world is very empty. It's not as busy as one you expect, especially if this is a AAA game that you're paying $70 for. No voice acting. I mean, look, I'm okay with text boxes and, scrolling text and dialogue bubbles with the animation. I played my fair share of RPGs to know that. That's the accepted form. But when you animate your characters to do the talking, I expect voiceover. So this is just Game Freak half-assing the presentation side. Empty world. I like the buildings and all that, but it's just boxes and simple structures. This is something a 1A studio would struggle to do. So a AAA studio like Game Freak doing this, the bare minimum, it's not really acceptable, especially if it's a AAA title. But the joke is on me because the game sold 5.1 million in its first 3 days. So there you go. The power of Pokemon and branding. So fuck me, I guess, right? But yeah, I'm not a fan of the presentation. It could be better considering that, yes, this is a company that has money to do these things. Not just voice acting, but also animation, presentation, making the world busy, and the fluff and flair and whatnot. It's like, this is like the complete opposite of a AAA studio browbeating, putting the stuff on crunch time, like, working on Ghost of Tsushima or some shit like that. So this is just wow. I mean, lucky there's enough battles for me to just, keep myself busy and whatnot. But yeah, I expected better from Game Freak. So, I mean, apart from that, I guess the music's fine, I guess. Going through the repetitive motion of leveling up your Pokemons and getting maybe collecting shinies, who knows? Or, making your big-ass army and doing side quests, which are all about the same. I mean, you're just battling. And you are also just collecting a database, capturing Pokemon to fill up the database from this one really cute scientist lady. And then you get rewards, and then you gotta talk to her and probably battle her and whatnot. And then the combat itself, again, luckily the gameplay itself is, nice. It's like a nice, promising kind of thing. So, I guess for future Pokemon Legends games, keep this battle system. The real-time combat thing is great. Just polish everything else around it. Okay, I have to be fair, because this will be a 7 out of 10, 70 out of 100 game, were it not for the fact that, I'll put it lower, because you expect better from a company that's been doing this for 20 plus years, so 60 out of 100 for Pokemon ZA. But again, the gameplay, but leaning towards a 70, because the gameplay and everything is good, just not great. And it's just a bit of a shallow, repetitive, kind of, albeit fast-paced kind of experience. Like, between this and Digimon Time Strangers, I'd rather go for Digimon Time Strangers, because that's the way more polished game and the more in-depth, more topical, because this is a storyline that has been recycled over and over again for Pokemon ZA Legends. So, again, I'm calling out Game Freak for half-assing this, but not half-assing it, basically. They can do better. I know they can do better. So, wow, I can't believe I'm saying this, but holy crap, I think the Pokemon knockoff is actually doing a better job than the actual Pokemon game itself this year. So, points to Digimon Time Stranger for that. They get the win this time around. So, I guess if I give it a 70, I am giving Digimon Time Strangers an 80. Yeah, they did a better job than Pokemon. But I want Game Freak to use this engine for a better game. Yeah, that's all I ask. And what else do I play? Silent Hill F. That we got a code from Konami. Thanks a lot for the sponsor, Konami. And so basically my review might not be trusted. Yeah, more or less. But I have to say, this is a good return to form for Silent Hill. It's been ages. It's been far too long. The last Silent Hill game I played was The Room, and that was really good. And then from Downpour, Homecoming, and all the other Book of Memories shit and onward, it's kind of been like on a downhill trend. And then there was supposed to be like a Silent Hills game from Kojima before he got fired from Konami. And yeah, and then now Konami decided to get your act together after, getting all that money from gym equipment, horse racing, pachinko, and pachinko, yeah, pretty much. So now they're gonna go back into the mainstream AAA kind of game, kind of thing. And then they got Neobar, it's a Hong Kong company, to make this Silent Hill game. So don't believe every person who said that this isn't a Silent Hill game. It is. It is 100% a Silent Hill game in everything except the location. Because every Silent Hill game has always been in the US. This is the first time it's in Japan. So, but everything else from the storyline, the narrative, where it deals with psychological bits here and there, stars a woman named Hinako who has to get out of this town that's been enveloped in this mist and red flowers and flesh mist and meat mounds and shit and the red flowers that pop up. And then she also ends up in the dark world for some reason, and then you'll find out more about that later, and you find out more and more about her backstory and everything. So don't worry, this is a spoiler-free review, despite the game being out for more than a month or so. Yeah, I actually asked my code pretty late because of TGS, all that. But yeah, Silent Hill F is definitely a high recommendation for me. Like, the combat itself, I mean, it is a scary game with not many jump scares, except from monsters who pop up from the corners. And even then, you actually get a bit of a fighting chance to dodge and whatnot. Hinako fights really well. She fights melee. She starts out with weak weapons and then she eventually gets more and more powerful. Unless you're playing the game on hard, in which case it kind of scales up. So it's a bit of a trouble. And then what's really cool is the puzzle mode. You actually get to change the puzzles from being either story difficulty or hard difficulty. Where hard, they added more extra layers to the puzzles, which is still solvable if you, just pay attention and whatnot. And listen to the clues and read up the clues and everything. So I really like the fact that you can change the difficulty for both combat and story. So if you want a challenge, yeah, just play on hard. Me, I'm just actually in it for the story, so I kind of went through it. I played hard mode for a bit, for maybe about an hour or so, and then I just changed it back to story so I can just see how the story unfolds, because the narrative is very important for a Silent Hill game. And this one, without spoiling it, it knocks it out of the ballpark, 100%. This is true and true a Silent Hill game. Really good stuff. The F makes sense in the context of the fact that you are playing as Hinako and you have to go through all the troubles that pertains to her era in the 60s, the perception of women in that era, and how it goes from there. Because when you see the story unfolds through phone calls and through what is real and what isn't, and as you play through the game through multiple playthroughs, yes, it's actually going through the route, like how Nier is, where basically the first ending is just part of the story. You gotta remember, this is the same, the writer and director for this game is the same guy who did When the Winds Cry, that thriller, the murder mystery thriller show, where the time rewinding and shit and happening in the village, Hinagori. There we go, Higurashi, When They Cry. Higurashi When They Cry, not the When the Winds Cry. Ryukishi 07, that's his name. Ryukishi 07. He created that manga, light novel, anime. That's also a game that requires multiple playthroughs. Like, the best comparison is most likely the Nonary games, Zero Escape, the Nonary games, where the first ending is just part of the story. Or again, like I said, Nier Automata, Nier, where you're only looking at one part of the story. If you want to get the full story, you gotta play through the game like 4 or 5 times or so, and then you what's really cool is to get to the other conclusions of the game, you are given a guide in game, not on GameFAQs or not on YouTube. They will show you how to get the endings if you want a good beautiful. Here's a guide, very helpful, that's for sure. So you don't have to second guess what you gotta do or have a FAQ or a second monitor popped up. It's all in the game, so very friendly of them to do that. And yeah, the whole evolution and the whole unfolding of the story adds a lot of meat to what is actually one of the best narrative games of this year, next to Clair Obscur. Yeah, I said it. Silent Hill F, really awesome story. So, and of course, the gameplay itself is, really cool third-person survival horror with a good mix of puzzle and combat. I'm not a fan of the combat rooms in the later half of the game, as well as for multiple playthroughs. I guess in a way it's trying to reflect the struggles Hinako has to go through in repetitious form. Like, you gotta earn your ending through beating the shit out of monsters in this eventually repetitive, monotonous combat rooms. But again, that's just a small point in what is otherwise a really good Silent Hill survival horror game that basically beats the pants off most silent survival horror games for the past few years or so. I'm surprised, honestly. This would be like the biggest surprise of 2025 for me, where Konami gets their act together in releasing a really good Silent Hill game. So yeah, the curse has been broken. So I guess I gotta give it a rating. Definitely a 90 out of 100. Closer to an 80, but I am willing to forgive the combat room nonsense if for the sole fact that the story just makes it worth playing through. Really, really good stuff. And I really hope to see Neil Bartz doing more games like these. Maybe they can do another Silent Hill in a different location. In Hong Kong. Yeah, in Hong Kong, in China, in Taiwan. Anywhere else except for America. Silent Hill H in Hong Kong. Does that make sense? Maybe? Too much on the nose? Silent Hill Gay Paris, or Silent Hill Europe, or in Serbia. Like, it can be like a more toned down version of a Serbian film. Less hardcore, but still hits those right notes about a guy or a girl who's trying to get through hell in that haunted town, but it's in Serbia where nasty shit happens, you know. So yeah, I want to see more of that. So this is the correct path that Silent Hill needs to go through. I guess the remakes can go back to, you know, the old town of Silent Hill in America, but all these other new Silent Hill games just take place elsewhere. Like, wow us with different locations. Again, if you can do it in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, anywhere in Asia, that's great too. If you want to have it in European town, that's great too. Just something away from what's been already done in the past 4 games, part 1 to 4. Make it different. That's all. And then you just work your way on that. Maybe keep the same writer. Keep Ryukishi07. Maybe he or she will have great topics, you know, to explore. And then keep that gameplay, you know, have the multiple playthrough loop thing going on. Add in new shit while in each subsequent playthrough. So that's the path that Silent Hill should be taking moving forward. So yeah, highest recommendation from us. This is in the top tier, on the top list, along with our other games like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound and Clair Obscur and Donkey Kong Bonanza. So yeah, cool stuff.